Hey there, friends. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotion for all the saints. Hope you're doing well this Wednesday. I want to share a quick reading from Sarah Arthur's Coffee with God to get us started today. And this one is about Jacob and Esau, those two brothers from the Old Testament who had, you may know, a very kind of troubled, rocky relationship. But this focuses on the end of that relationship and their reconciliation. Now, Esau refused Jacob's gift, but Jacob insisted, "No, if I have found favor with you, please accept this gift from me. And what a relief to see your friendly smile. It's like seeing the face of God." Genesis 33:10. What strange magic in this verse. Jacob would not say such a thing lightly, much less to his former enemy Esau. It was not just an empty formality. Just a chapter before this, Jacob had seen the face of God, so he knew it when he saw it. I doubt his brother Esau actually looked like God. It was more likely Esau's demeanor of grace, forgiveness, and acceptance that reminded Jacob of God's face. Even though Jacob had wrestled with God only shortly before and had received a wound from him before the end of the struggle, he also received a blessing. Sounds rather like his relationship with Esau when you think about it. The brothers struggled in the womb and for the birthright, see Genesis 25, and experienced the consequences of that wounded relationship, see Genesis 27. But Jacob also experienced Esau's forgiveness before the end, a blessing indeed. Even so, Jacob would always walk with a limp from his poor choices. He was scarred for life, both inside and out. And now I wonder some more about this curious story. With whom was Jacob really wrestling earlier? I mean, the man, or so he's called in the story, never gave Jacob his true name. Jacob later said that he'd seen the face of God, but it must have been God in human form, a being with very human kinds of limitations, if Jacob could fight him for so long without losing. God in human form. You know, saints, I am wary of trying to read Jesus into the Old Testament, but that seems to be one of the conclusions that we could reach if we think in terms of the language and the kind of coincidence of the metaphors that we know, that Jesus is God in the flesh, God in human form, God incarnate. Well, when we think about God who takes on a human form to wrestle with Jacob on that fateful night, we might be tempted to draw a connection or a parallel. I don't think that's necessary. I think there are many occasions in the Old Testament where people encounter God, and it is in some way a mysterious encounter. There is a form to God that we would have a hard time explaining. Sometimes the translators use words like angels. Sometimes it's a stranger or a man. Sometimes it is more vague and less defined than that. There is the presence of God. And we don't know exactly what that means or what the human being interacting with God in that moment perceived and saw. In Jacob's case, he saw something that allowed him to make the comment later that he'd seen the face of God. He knew something more about who God was, how God behaves, what is to be expected from God. And really interestingly, he saw that again the very next day in his own brother's face, his brother who he had been estranged from for decades because of the way that he had betrayed his brother and stolen the birthright long ago. Now, Jacob and Esau have this really interesting relationship as brothers. And it is that moment of forgiveness and reconciliation that reflects to Jacob the face of God that he had previously encountered. I wonder when I hear that, how do we encounter God? Where do we see God's face? What is it that we experience? Or who is it that we interact with that shows God's face to us? Is it our own siblings? Is it our brothers and sisters? I don't know, saints. Where do you have those moments where you suddenly recognized something deeper was going on? Where perhaps in the face of a teacher who made time to stay after class and help explain a concept to you. Or in the face of a parent who showed you that they understood what you were going through when you really didn't expect them to. Maybe in the face of a boss who, after letting you go, made sure that you understood that they did not want to do that. And they were going to make sure that you landed on your feet. They were looking out for you nevertheless. Or maybe even in the face of a sibling with whom you have spent a lifetime wrestling and competing, and you suddenly look at each other and realize there's genuine love and concern and compassion between you. Saints, where do you see God's face? It's your devotion for this week. I hope it's something worth thinking about. Hope you are doing well and staying healthy. I'll be praying for you. Please keep praying for me, and I'll see y'all again soon. Take care, Saints.